thinking he's going to snap the ball, I'm going to call timeout, and he's going to throw a touchdown pass. So, you sit there and you agonize over those few seconds. We've got to handle that better.
Well, that's my question, I guess. Is there a learning experience there that you say next time the threshold is X amount of seconds, that if he hasn't snapped it yet, we got to take that deal?
Well, the tough part is we anticipated him snapping it. And so he's there, and we weren't sure why he wasn't getting the ball snapped. But it was loud, and yeah, you probably do that with 2 timeouts. But like I said, at the time, we're thinking he's going to snap the ball.
I know it doesn't feel as good as a win, but the most national media coverage you've gotten from this game is because what everyone, I think, in unanimity has called a classy gesture to decline the penalty after they line up without their punter, an honor to Sam Foltz. Have you been surprised by the amount of feedback that has come in because of that?
Yeah, I have been surprised because to me it was a no-brainer. The officials told me before the game that they were going to do that just so we knew what the reason they were doing it. And I said, well, certainly we'll just decline the penalty. And I saw Coach Riley, and before the game, and he mentioned the same thing. And I said, well, hopefully we'll make it punt so that we can actually bring, have that honor happen. I wasn't sure at the time we could make him punt, but I'm kidding. It wouldn't have been real good if had this big thing set up and we didn't oblige him by stopping him one time. But did it on the first series, and I thought it was impressive, on their part. To me, I harken back to being in the Air Force, the missing man formation, and to honor the young man, his family. I knew how much he meant to their team. We had intended, and we had helmet stickers for him just to let them know that we were with them in spirit. And then when that happened, I thought it was just a really touching moment for the family, and hopefully it made them a little bit more comfortable in this situation.
Questions from the group?
Nobody.
I'll go.
Microphone today.
Someone have a question? I'll go. While we're talking about tragic circumstances, it looked like it was going to be an absolute tragedy in Fresno County Jail the other day. A former Bulldog, long before your time, played for Coach Sweeney, along with Scanlon, shot in the head, but he's survived. He's still fighting for his life. Is that something that touches your program when you hear that a former dog is going through something like that?
Absolutely, absolutely. Guys that play here, there's a common bond with all of our team, with teams in the past. And when somebody who, by all accounts, I didn't know Officer Scanlon personally, but it was a volunteer coach, a guy that, affected his community in a great way, was a great representative of Fresno State and Fresno State football. For something like that to happen is just tragic. He's obviously in our thoughts and prayers, and we're going to try to do something for him and his family to let them know that the Bulldogs are thinking about them.
With this Colin Kaepernick thing going on, the first home game, do you expect any of your players to take a knee or sit or do anything like that?
Well, our players aren't out during the national anthem. We're still in the locker room, and that happens. It was an interesting discussion. In fact, a day or two after it happened, we talked to our team about that. I gave them, my views on things. I think it's awesome to live in a country where people have First Amendment rights to be able to say what they want, cause controversy. The First Amendment means nothing if you can't say something controversial. And I think Colin's got every right to do that. My message to the team was, in my opinion, that venue's probably not the right way to do it. You're getting ready to play a football game. It's not about any one individual. It's not about my causes. It's all about what the team wants to do. And to distract from that, that's where I have my disagreement with him. But he plays for another team and not my team. And I think our players understood where I came from. And I asked anybody, I said, hey, does anybody have any comments? And I don't know if they wanted to go to lunch or whatever, but there was no commentary after that.
No K on the helmet.
Yeah, no.
Coach Chasen got banged up in the first half, and then you saw Zach Klein. What do you like from both quarterbacks? Chasen came back in, obviously. How's he doing health-wise, and what you saw from both quarterbacks on Saturday?
Yeah, I really liked what we saw from both of them. I thought Chasen started out the game, really well. Just like we anticipated, very, very poised, accurate, did a great job leading our team. He got banged up there right before the half. And when he did, you press Zach into service, and I think people saw firsthand for the first time why we said that there was a great competition this summer. And I think that was why, Chasen had to really, really push in order to win that competition, because he came right in. He's got a live arm, he understands the package. We've run, our 2-minute drill with him multiple times, and so he had a great understanding of it. And I was really pleased with the way he played. Now, both quarterbacks could do things, better, differently. They had some reads back, but I was pleased with both of them for a first game. As far as Chasen, he's going to be fine. He was at practice yesterday throwing.
What's the biggest positive you take away from last week as you head into the home opener?
The biggest positive is I think we're relatively healthy. I think our guys at the end of that game realized we let an opportunity slip, that we had an opportunity to have a signature win, a win on the road in a very difficult environment. But our guys realized that, hey, we can go toe-to-toe with a team like Nebraska if we continue to make plays. And, the 3 drives that we didn't have there in the third quarter, two times we had false start penalties to hurt us. We threw an interception on a ball that went, through one of our guys' hands. Those kind of things that we're capable of not doing, you've got to do to beat a good team like that. Defensively, you can't let a guy get over the top of you when we're playing that particular coverage. They throw a ball underneath, hey, tackle them, let's go. We got to do a better job of not letting the ball get thrown over us. So there's a lot of learning from those situations, and we talk to our guys about the detail of what it takes to win one of those games. And there's those few handful of plays that they make them, they win. We make them, we win, and they make those plays.
Coach, what's your plan at quarterback for Sac State? Is it just going to be Chasen, or do you want to get Zach, maybe a couple of other guys in there too?
Well, we'll see how the game goes. Certainly, Chasen's our quarterback. There's no plan to bring another quarterback in. You see how the game progresses. We didn't plan on playing Zach last week, yet he played. So, we'll always have 2-3 quarterbacks ready to play, and you play the game and see what happens.
Is DeMar Scott going to be eligible?
He still has pending NCAA eligibility issues. Nobody's here today to, from compliance to let us know where that thing stands. We'll probably know within the next week or two a definitive answer, but right now we're not anticipating him playing.
With Aaron Peck's first game back, how'd you feel he did?
I was really happy for Aaron and for our team. Aaron had quite the journey last year at this time, or a couple weeks before this time a year ago. Was really having a great fall camp, and we thought he was going to have this kind of a game a year ago. I think sometimes when you have that year taken away from you, you have a little bit more of a burning desire in the offseason to get better, to really push, because you realize how much something means when it's taken away. I think he took it to heart and really performed well. Gave Chasen the comfort zone of someone he could throw to who's going to be dependable. He could throw it up and make plays, and he did it on Saturday.
With the run game being ineffective in this game, what's the message to the running back core, you can say?
Well, I think our matchup up front was difficult. We knew that going in. Nebraska's very physical. They got linebackers that are big, that can run. They did a nice job with their safeties, filling hard in the alley. That's why we thought, when they were slowing down the run game, they were leaving themselves a little bit vulnerable in the pass game. We'd like to be much more balanced. We don't think we can win a whole lot of games being one-dimensional. Unfortunately, on Saturday, that's what we were forced to do. We'd like to, be able to establish a run game, and we're going to keep working at it to get better.
How important is it not only to win this week at Bulldog Stadium, but to put on, for lack of a better expression, a good show for the fans, against a team that on paper you're better than?
To me, the thing I challenged our team with yesterday, it doesn't matter who the opponent is. We play the New England Patriots. It's about us. It's about holding ourselves to our standard. The score comes out to what the score comes out. And we said that before the game at Nebraska. We'll say the same thing this week against Sacramento State. The score will take care of itself if we play to our standard. And I thought we approached that last week, but we didn't play quite to our standard, and we've got to get better. And we've got to improve this week. So, we were out of practice yesterday. We challenged our guys. We had a good, practice for an hour yesterday. Guys have, the day off, and then we'll get back tomorrow morning, and it will be very vigorous practice, because we've got to get better. We've got to improve.
Did you notice any differences in the emotional state of the team after this weekend's loss as opposed to like last year's losses?
I don't know how you quantify it, but, our guys were obviously disappointed. You don't take any solace in a close win or close loss. I mean, it's just, our guys were probably more disappointed than anything, knowing that we had a chance to win the thing. We had it there, and we got to make a few more plays. We got to coach better. We got to play better.
You mentioned that it's about you guys and holding yourselves to the standard that you're setting. And if you don't, there's a danger there. And I'm thinking maybe Sac State, what just happened to the Hornets, is a cautionary tale. I mean, they're playing at home against a Division II team and lose their opener.
It happens every year. Ask guys up in Pullman or out in Ames, Fort Worth. TCU was down big to South Dakota. If you're not ready to play, anybody in any level can beat you. And if you don't believe me, just look every weekend, particularly early in the season. What happens now, and I think, not to blame the media, but I think in the world we live in, where players have such access to media and people tell them, hey, you're great, you're supposed to win here, on paper you're better than this team, guys start to believe it and think they don't have to play to their standard. And as coaches, you got to continually beat that out of your players and keep drumming the drum beat that, hey, we have got to play our game. No matter who we play, we're playing our standard.
Tim, you mentioned Chasen's poise coming out of the gate. Did you think any of that changed after the injury for him, or were there other factors that kind of slowed the offense down?
I don't think it changed. Again, after that first couple series, I thought our offensive line did a great job protecting him. We switched some things up protection-wise. We kept some backs in to chip their defensive ends, but I was really pleased, particularly the way our tackles played. David Patterson and Christian Cronk, his first start ever. That's a heck of a front, and those guys held up, I thought, very, very well in the pass game. Chasen had a bunch of confidence. He just missed some throws, and I think part of it had to do probably, he was sore, and he wasn't quite, feeling great, so it probably had something to do with that.
Tim, considering Chasen got hurt last year and stuff, when you see him go down early in the season opener, how gut-wrenching was that for you? How nerve-wracking was that?
Well, I think anytime you have one of your players go down, you're concerned. I guess this year that's a little bit different, is that I think we've got some backup quarterbacks and multiple guys that I feel very, very comfortable with going in the game. Now, obviously, they don't have as many reps in them as Chasen, going into that game. But I think we're in a much better situation. Not that I'm hoping anybody gets hurt, but if someone does get hurt, that the next guy picks up the flag and says, hey, let's go.
Well, on that same thing, that impacted play calling at all. I mean, Chasen's an athletic guy, but he's kind of undersized for that position. The hit he took was, outside the pocket, rolling out. Do you want to try to keep him there, or do you say, hey, play your game?
He's got to play his game. We talk to him all the time. We do have some quarterback run game that we use with him. We don't want him taking shots. And, when you're vulnerable as a quarterback, that's where you really, can take those shots, and he just gets done throwing the ball, and you're not a runner. You're not, bracing for impact. The guy fell on him. You try to protect him as much as you can, but to me, one of the great things about Chasen's game is he can extend a play, and that's where you've got opportunities for big plays to happen.
For this offense to reach its potential, though, and especially for that running game to take off, like in that game, and you're looking at a six-man box all night long, no quarterback run game, except for Klein, who probably made you nervous running into three guys staying on his feet. Do you need Chasen to run the ball more for this offense to reach its potential?
Well, I think so. I think part of it is, it's based on the reads. The role of the offense and the quarterback is to get us in the right play, or make the right read, and then take advantage when something's being overplayed. And, there was probably a couple reads that he might have been, better off to pull, and that's what he'll learn from the tape. We don't do a whole lot of quarterback design. It's automatically going to be a pull play. It's mostly a read.
With two new coordinators, obviously Keesaw and Lorenzo Ward, I know you've been practicing scrimmages, et cetera, but the first game time atmosphere in front of 90,000, how would you assess the way they called the plays and interacted with the players?
I thought both sides of the ball did really well, and I thought one of the major improvements we had was with our communication on special teams and the fact that they made plays. Dave Unger does a terrific job. He had studied the tape, did a great job designing pressure for their punt team, that he had our guys, dialed in, ready to go, and probably had a shot to block the first punt, when Deli came through there, and then Robert came through, and we had a block called, and did a great job executing. And it was something that we have been repping over and over and over again. We laugh on, a little bit, Dave says, hey, trust the U-man to our players, and our players trusted the U-man and got it done. As far as offensively and defensively, when you're in that kind of environment where it is very difficult to communicate, I thought both sides did a great job. Offensively, things went off without a hitch. I don't think we took a delayed game penalty, which a lot of times when you have a new staff, sometimes those things happen. We did have the communication, and that's on me, down on the end of the first half, not calling timeout, but that was probably the only major issue offensively. And then defensively, I thought our defensive staff did a great job. We started off the game 3-and-out, and they got a little bit of roll. We made some adjustments and settled in a little bit. So I think our kids have a lot of faith in all of our coaching staff, and I think it showed by how hard they played and how they competed.
How did your nose tackles play in this game? I saw that there was a little bit of a rotation there, and did you learn anything that you can take for the rest of the season, because that's such a key position?
Yeah, no, I thought both Malik and Patrick did a really nice job. I think Malik had a few more snaps, but they both rotated. Malik got banged up a little bit. He'll be fine this week. Those guys, that's their first big-time college football games for both those guys, and to have them in that environment probably won't get much tougher than that for them, but they competed really, really well.
How about the tailbacks? Now, is their lack of running, was that the blocking, and or more them not reading the right way to go, and also pass protection too? There was a couple obvious not so great pass protections.
Well, yeah, early on in pass protection, they disguised the pressure. We didn't identify it well enough, and they had a guy come free to hit us. But after that, I thought our guys did a pretty good job of sorting out, and even though they were running a few things a little differently than what they had shown, picked things up, I thought, pretty well. You'll have to ask Jason, but he looked very, very comfortable in the pocket, and I think we gave him a pretty good bit of time. In the run game, however, we got to get better. Part of it was, we weren't getting any push on their line. We knew that was going to be a little bit difficult to get some vertical push, which you need to do in our running game. We've got to get better. I wouldn't put that on the running backs necessarily. We've got to do a better job up front, and the path of the running back on a couple plays probably could have been a little bit better to gain some more yards, and they'll learn from the tape on that. So it's not like it was only the line. Both aspects are culpable, and Jason probably could have pulled one or two to help some things out as well.
Could we see Savion added to that mix this week with the other three who carried it?
Well, he practiced last week. I think he's getting closer to 100%. We'll see how he goes this week.
As far as the home atmosphere, I know that in recruiting, I'm sure you're using those architectural renderings of what the new stadium is going to look like once it's all done, but phase 1 goes into effect, and this is our first taste of it Saturday night. Have you seen anything yet, and is there anything that you're excited about with the new look of Bulldog Stadium?
Yeah, actually I have. I got a old man workout where I walk around the outside of the stadium. I do the stadium steps, and to see those wraps around the stadium, I think it makes it a great clean look. I noticed the chain link fencing's out. Now you've got nice wrought iron fencing. It's starting to look like an old school, very classy stadium. And I think our fans are going to love it. Hopefully we'll get a bunch of them here this weekend. Our players are committed more than ever to making Bulldog Stadium the toughest venue in the Mountain West Conference. And we've won a lot of ball games there, and our guys plan on going undefeated there this year, and it starts this weekend.
All right, let's let Coach DeRuyter go, and we'll bring up Jason Virgil.
Thank you.
That's Coach Tim DeRuyter as Bulldogs look for their first win of the season Saturday night, 7 o'clock at home against the Hornets of Sacramento State. There's still some tickets available for that. If you didn't hear enough from Coach today, you can catch him at the Coach Tim DeRuyter show Wednesday night at 6 o'clock at the Dockhouse Grill. And on his way up in the back of the room is the redshirt freshman quarterback for the Bulldogs, Jason Virgil, who made his second career start Saturday night in Lincoln, and made the second home start of his career this coming Saturday night against the Hornets of Sac State. Jason, first of all, how you feeling? Everybody in America saw you take that targeting shot on the sideline. How's the shoulder?
It feels good, just a little banged up. Not really nothing serious. Just fell on the bone, just a little banged up when I got inside, but it feels good.
Were you trying to talk them into letting you go back in before the end of the half?
No, I wasn't trying to talk to them. It was just if they wanted me to go back in, I was gonna go back in. They just told me to wait till halftime. Just go in there with the training staff and just have them look at it and come back out and say, "I'm ready to go."
How do you evaluate your own performance from Saturday night?
It was an okay performance. I think the first half was fairly good. The second half I needed to be a lot better. Throwing the ball. Probably could have picked some different spots to run the ball a little bit more just to help the team out and sustain some more drives. And I think overall it was an okay performance, but it wasn't enough for us to win.
When something happens, like the play where it glances off Keyshawn's hands and ends up as a pick, is there a conversation you have afterwards to try to either make sure that doesn't happen again or help the guy not beat himself up too much? How do you respond to a situation like that?
Well, it's just picking him up. I don't want him to get his head down. I don't want him to lose confidence in anything that we're doing. It's just encouraging him to just move on to the next play, both of us. And we still got a lot of game left to play, so I think that's the biggest thing.
Jason, how did that environment compare to Ole Miss last year for you?
It was a little bit different environment. There was definitely a lot more people there. It was probably louder, but Nebraska had some real nice fans, so we didn't really get a lot of boos or anything. How we probably did in Ole Miss, but it was a different environment for us. Just a little bit more people than it was at Ole Miss.
How did you feel as opposed to last year before the game when you're getting ready to go in?
I felt way more confident this year, just in our team. Period. We all knew what we were doing. We all had a goal in mind. We were all confident going into that game. We were all very comfortable with each other. We trusted each other. We trusted our coaches and things like that. So it was just being more comfortable around the team this year.
Did they do anything in the second half of the game? The first half of the game, you guys looked pretty good. Your opening drive was fantastic. In the second half, they seemed to change some stuff up defensively. Was there anything specific that was confusing or different to you?
They really didn't do much changes defensively in the second half. I think it was just us. We just shot ourselves in the foot sometimes. And, we still drove the ball a lot. We had great field position. Defense gave us great field position. I think like 3 drives in a row. And so, it was just us just shooting ourselves in the foot, whether it was missed reads or busted assignments or just jumping off sides and things like that. So it wasn't nothing that they did defensively that they changed or adjusted to.
Do you feel like if you would, if you would execute better in the second half, you feel like that's when you guys would have got?
Yeah, definitely. We came out, we had the ball first. In the second half, it was a 14-10 game. And, we just do our job when we execute. There's no telling what that game could have switched to. Even then, they ended up scoring and made it 21-10. And I think our defense got 3 stops in a row and gave us the ball in great field position. Offensively, we just didn't do what we were supposed to do with that. And I think that could have changed the game around going into the fourth quarter.
Does that fire you up when early on in the game there's a 4th down and coach gives you the green light to go for it?
Yeah, it does. It just lets us know that he's very confident in us to go get that first down, and so that's what we want to do. We want to execute. We always want to be out there on the field as much as possible. We don't want our defense out there. We don't want those guys getting tired, and so for us to be that close and we were dropping the ball like we were on the first drive, him to let us go for a 4th down, that just shows that he has confidence in us.
Did you want to go for it again?
Oh, yeah.
Take the field goal?
Oh, yeah. Let's just keep going for it. We like that. But as Coach DeRuyter knows how to manage the game really well, and so there's nothing wrong with kicking the field goal.
Jason, what was your experience like when they sent out the missing man formation to honor their punter?
At first, I didn't understand what was going on until I looked back there and seen that the punter wasn't there. I can't really put into words, how that would feel to, have one of my teammates, pass away or not have them at a game, especially a teammate like theirs. He was such a big part of their team, and so I really can't put into words, how that would feel. I'm just really thankful for all my teammates, and it was just something. I'm happy to be a part of that happened. For us to decline the penalty and really show respect to them and the great football program.
Jason, your first game with Eric Esau on the sideline in your ear, how do you think that relationship has built and is now potentially better because of that experience?
Oh, me and Coach Kiesau is gonna have a great experience, a great time with each other. We're very comfortable. You know, he just asks me what I see on the field. You know, I let him know, and he tells me what he sees. So, you know, it's just a connection between us two. You know, we're able to make adjustments smoothly. We're able to talk about things, you know, after every drive very smoothly. And so, you know, it's just a great connection that we built between spring until now.
Speaking of relationships, Aaron Peck had said before the game that you guys developed a pretty good one being on the sideline last year. How do you think that translated into this game?
Oh, it made a big difference. You know, just both me and Aaron was out last year, so you know we were able to get a lot of mental reps with each other, just to talk to each other and see how you know we would do things differently coming into this season. And so that's just something that me and him both, you know, pushed each other to come back from injuries. You know, we were always on each other about rehab and things like that. And so it definitely helped going into fall camp. You know, we worked hard all summer. Going into fall camp, you know, we just built that connection up, and you know, it was displayed on Saturday. You know, Aaron's a great receiver, so it was nice to. It's his senior year. It was nice to see him do what he did.
Is that something that when you review the film of the game, you see his impact even more? Because, I mean, he had 9 catches for 112, but he probably had the 2 best blocks of the game on the perimeter, too. I mean, is he a guy that right now almost feels like an MVP for your offense, or someone that everybody can depend on?
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's why we named him captain for a reason. You know, we knew coming into this year that he was going to take this year a lot seriously. It's his last year, and so you can tell that by the way that he plays. And you know, he's just a guy that can, you know, help lead this offense to where we want to go. Like you said, on the perimeter, blocking, catching, you know, just making plays for us downfield. Sometimes getting the quarterback out of a bad situation, about being able to have him out there throwing the ball. So, you know, Beck is a great playmaker for us, and you know, we're going to need that the whole season.
Jason, what are your expectations for Saturday night? I mean, on paper, Sac State is a team that you guys should beat.
I mean, our expectation for Saturday night is the expectations for every Saturday is to go 1-0, but we definitely know that we have to come out and play hard. You know, they're not a team that's just going to, you know, lay down. At the end of the day, they have the same mentality that we had going to Nebraska. You know, they were a bigger school, real bigger school than they were, so they want to come up here and they want to beat us. You know, it'll be good for their program. So we know that they're going to come in, you know, with that attitude. We just have to go out there with our attitude and just be ready to play.
How excited are you going into your first start at Bulldog Stadium?
I'm very excited just to get back in front of the Red Wave. You know, just to see those guys. I think the last time they see me, I hurt my shoulder against Utah last year. And so, you know, just to be able to go out there, show them, you know, our new product, our new system, things like that, and show them that we are getting better, show them our improvements from last week into this week. And so, you know, I'm very excited.
What actually happened to the shoulder
Talking about
this last game?
last game, it was just landed on it kind of wrong, and it just got kind of banged up a little bit. You know, it was just really sore. But other than that, it was really nothing, not a big deal. Nothing that was going to keep me off the game. You know, nothing that's going to affect me the rest of the year.
Just trying to break in your new trainer? Or what?
I don't know about trying to break in a new trainer, but you know, our training staff are, you know, they're some of the best training staff in the nation. You know, they always help us, and so, you know, now they have guys in there doing rehab every day. You know, just trying to get us back on the field. So we have a great training staff.
Jason, did you get a chance to watch maybe Sunday's game? Their college football. I know a lot of people are excited that college football's back. You're obviously in it, but did you get a chance as a fan to watch any games this weekend?
I was able to watch a couple of games. You know, back at the hotel, I was able to watch Houston and Oklahoma play. You know, that was a real good game. And then I actually caught the game yesterday. I got a couple friends or guys that I grew up with that played for Texas. You know, I seen them play Notre Dame yesterday. That was a real good game. So I'm able to watch a little bit, but I'm so focused just, you know, with Fresno that, you know, we're just trying to make sure that we're good going into next week and, you know, ready for our opponent. So I really don't watch as much, but I'll probably catch the night game, probably catch a little bit of it.
All right, let's let Jason go. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, redshirt freshman quarterback and team captain Jason Virgil, who makes the start Saturday night at 7 against